We actually made it safe and sound on Garol, a very far away island from Kuwait City compared to the other islands. So it's not just turtles that you're really in, it's everything that has to do with the... You're falling in love with the island and whatever is on it, huh?
Well, we do fall in love, but we're trying to also be professional, because if you let love cloud your judgment, you don't do your work properly.
You become possessive of the place perhaps, no?
You do, and you don't like anybody touching it, and
I
you
know what
get
that feels
aggressive
like.
towards anybody who
I know
is
what that feels like.
so there's a great danger here. So we have looked at the reef in great detail. We have studied its life. We have made a list of all the fish that we ourselves have witnessed.
No, I mean, you're from Greece and you're all the way in Kuwait right now. I'd love to hear your story on what is it that made you love turtles so much to bring you to a deserted island?
Life brings us to different geographical areas. But once you are there and you experience nature, you realize that it's all united, all unified.
Of course.
Borders are invented by people. Animals and nature don't know borders. And I choose to be with the animals and nature.
As I learned, you're supposed to let nature take its course. But we're going to learn in this part of the show why it's important for humans to help nature and to help these type of animals to take their course and be able to progress. علي بس تشرح لنا شنو علاقة درجة الحرارة مع جنس السلحفاة، هل يطلع ذكر أو أنثى؟ أنا سمعت أن درجة الحرارة لها علاقة.
صح. طبعا الأعشاش طبعا كلها درجة حرارة الجو، يعني تدري والرمل ياخذ درجة الحرارة من الجو.
أكيد. Environmental research and conservation shouldn't be work for volunteers and nature lovers only. It needs professionals, passionate workers who work with a strict schedule and military discipline. A female will not nest in consecutive years, typically skipping 1 or 2 years before returning. Researchers are still studying sexual maturity in sea turtles. Estimates of sexual maturity in sea turtles vary not only among species, depending on the species, the female deposits 50 to 200 ping-pong ball-shaped eggs into the egg cavity. The eggs are soft shells and are papery to leathery in texture. They do not break when they fall into the egg cavity. Bumpy.
But I'd say it was worse because when we were in Cape Town, we had worse. Everyone was vomiting.
What are you? You're from South Africa?
Yeah.
Perhaps the most important question to ask is, why is it so important to protect sea turtles? You see, sea turtles are necessary for the survival of coral reefs worldwide. Without coral reefs, the degradation of life in the oceans would be imminent. Fisheries worldwide would be gravely affected. Many organizations around the world and also in Kuwait are committed to stop the decline of sea turtles and work for the recovery of the species. But that's not enough without the help of each individual person who cares about the ecosystem of our planet.
I think the best thing to do is that there should be established an ecosystem like sector in Kuwait for ecotourism, in which in ecotourism there will be a proper management of desert resources, and these resources to be managed in a proper way, in a sound and sustainable way, so they will not be wasted. So by establishing this ecosystem sector, we can do eco-camping.
The Gobi Desert, located in the northern part of Asia, is a cold desert with frost and occasionally snow occurring on its dunes. Besides being quite far north, it is also located on a plateau roughly 1,500 meters above sea level, which contributes to its low temperatures. The climate of the Gobi is one of the greatest extremes.
I'm basically taking my tea break. The crew is also taking their tea break.
We need to manage the plastic. There is a lot of plastic now which is biodegradable. So even if it is left over in the desert or landfills, it can biodegrade naturally.
Thing about it as the whole crew is trying to do something about it. So stay tuned to see this part of our adventure. But I think there's a small challenge, or perhaps it's very large actually. I'm going to try to transcend and translate the kind of smell I'm smelling right now from all these plants that are around. We probably forgot to smell them, or we don't actually have them in the city. I'm going to try to make you understand and probably feel the type of odor and smell that is invigorating that we can smell over here.
Major migratory flyways in the world, and one of them passes directly through Kuwait. It's called the East Asia, East Africa flyway. So birds will come from as far as Siberia, fly over Kuwait and head down through East Africa, and some as far south as South Africa.
It's hard to understand that anyone would come here and not fall immediately in love with this place. The type of grass that's here, it just gives the smell, it's invigorating and it gives a sense of energy. The type of water, it's very clean, and what really strikes me actually is that there's not a single piece of litter. That's not something you see in this.
But education and awareness and letting people know about the beauty of what is here and what can be enjoyed is probably the more important thing to do.
A nature reserve or bioreserve is a protected area of importance for wildlife, flora, fauna, or features of the geological or other special interest, which is reserved and managed for conservation and to provide special opportunities for study or research.
You said that this place is a jewel, and I was surprised myself to have something like that in a very much of a modernized city and country, if you will. And explain why you use that term, jewel.
Well, I mean, Jara Pools Reserve is to me the premier sort of inland wetland reserve in Kuwait. I mean, there's a couple of other reserves that are typical desert reserves. But this is the one that has got so much water and so much reed habitat.
We're very passionate about nature and about lessening the impact on the environment, and I saw the same passion in you, but for sustainable buildings and sustainable energy.
About that, we want to live comfortably, but at the same time, we want to think also broadly and be open to where the threats are. I have enjoyed the best moments within the conference that we've attended, the forum, on the booth, when I've seen kids coming to me and asking questions. What does it mean, green? If I don't evolve and develop an environment that is sustainable, even a project that is sustainable, I don't get money out of it. A company that is not sustainable will not survive in the future. When you start thinking, if I'm gonna be saving some energy and I'll be rewarded, I don't have to pay my bill, why don't I do it?
Yeah.
And then it will accrue month after month, and then we feel it.
Being surrounded with nature and greenery in this interview really made us know the meaning, the true meaning of the word green. We come to the second version of irrigating and planting these trees, which is my favorite version because it is the one that includes technology. Yes, we can use technology, different types of a technology from around the world to actually plant these trees. Now, this is the second version. It's the one that I was telling you it takes medium effort. And what I mean by medium effort is just irrigating it or checking on it for only twice a year, only twice annually. So it's really like when I say medium effort, it's almost no effort.
Yeah, well, drip irrigation is regarded as a very efficient way of irrigating a tree, and that's what consumes 20 liters of water per week. But we kept working on finding new technologies to conserve more and to make the plantation and irrigation process an easier job for us. In order to grow to a larger number of trees. So we found this technology, it's called the water box. It's a Dutch technology. And by utilizing this technology, we consume only 30 liters of water. So that's the water box, and that's what we use for irrigating the trees right now. The basic idea of it is when we want to plant a tree, we dig up a hole in the diameter of this box, and we make it that deep, only to this level. And then, when we plant the tree and fill this up with water, the only outlet of the water from the box is this right here. What this makes is it moisturizes the soil around, the tree roots. And if the soil is wet enough, certainly they can. I mean, you're right. We've done a lot of effort. We actually bake before we get the cake. So that's what we exactly did. We've done a lot of studies. We've done on-ground projects to verify our arguments and our claims. And it worked. We started right here. We planted trees and we incubated them for 6 months. That means we irrigate them on weekly basis for 6 months. And then we let them go. And as you see, these trees are 3 years old. They've survived and they're actually greener than ever. And they've been through the harsh summers of Kuwait with no irrigation whatsoever. So a single individual can certainly do something similar.
planet, the love of nature.